Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jays Fit Down podcast. I'm your host Jay, and today we're going to be previewing week 2 of the 2024 NFL season, which already started last night with the Bills and the Dolphins playing on Thursday Night Football. Of course, Buffalo got the win there, and also want to acknowledge this really quickly. I just wanted to say, I'm wishing the best for Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. He suffered a concussion last night, which was I think his third of his career that he suffered since he's been in the NFL. So just heartbreaking thing to see. You never, we football, while it's a very fun game to watch and play, it also is a game that, like other sports, you can get highly and severely injured from it. And concussions and the whole thing, CTE and brain trauma, that is a those are injuries that have highly come up in football, throughout its history, its existence. More so, notably now, as we have now the technology to track them, we've been finding them. We've been finding them in a lot of athletes, those who have been who are alive now, and still, and those who are deceased. So, the point being, just wishing prayers and everything out to Tua and his family during this rough time, and to the Dolphins organization. So, of course, and but yeah, we'll get into all those games, and then like I said, the week 2 matchups. I'm looking forward to it. I'm circling for it. I'm gonna let you know what you need to watch out for in week 2 coming up. But before we get there, make sure you hit the subscribe button and comment your thoughts. All share what you think and your on this channel. We very appreciate it. So hit that like button as well. And check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all audio podcast platforms. Jay's Fifth Down exclamation point. Again, is the name of the channel. Had to change to a different audio podcast platform. Couldn't get into the other one. So now it's just Jay's Fifth Down exclamation point. That's how you can find us. I'll put a link in the description below for that. But follow us on socials, IG, Twitter, TikTok. So y'all know the deal. But week 2, starting off with Buffalo and Miami. This game, the Bills they look really good. Defense looked great. They got 3 picks off of, or was it 2 or 3? I think it was 2 picks off of Tua. Christian Benford had 2 of them. So, he played good football last day. This defense in general played good for Buffalo. They were stifling Miami's run game a little bit. Pass defense was exceptional. Didn't really let Tyreek get off too much, even though, again, Tua did leave the game. So, but overall, good game from Buffalo's standpoint. Josh Allen looked good. Like I saw James Cook, who is emerging as that receiving threat out of the backfield. He already, they ran that with him a lot. Like last year, they threw the ball to him out the backfield a good number of the time, and I think they should keep going to it because he's a good option out the backfield. And he's a good runner too. So that's something that I noticed there in that matchup. And moving on, but one more note on that, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how Miami is going to go without, as far as Tua, because we don't know. There's no timetable on that. Head coach Mike McDaniel already said that there's no timetable exactly when Tua might return. He's going to go through league protocols as per usual when these things come up with concussions. So he's going to go through the NFL protocol, and they'll just go from there. So Skylar Thompson will be serving as the team starter in his place, and I'm hearing that they're going to bring in another quarterback. They're looking to bring in somebody else as well. So that is that. But some week 2 matchups that I'm really looking forward to watching this weekend. So I have some down my list. One of them is going to be the Colts and the Packers. Now, the Colts lost a very tough game. The Colts lost a very tough game to the Houston Texans on Sunday. Anthony Richardson played really well. Defensively, they, not as good as they wanted to. So I'm going to see how they're going to play against a Green Bay team without Jordan Love. Can they take advantage of that fact? And can they, get after that young offense, those young receivers who have proven themselves to be very talented? Can they get after them? And can they just, whoever's the starting quarterback for the Packers, we don't know who it's going to be. More likely than not, I'm thinking it's going to be Malik Willis, but that could be wrong. It could be Sean Clifford. More likely than not, it's going to be Malik Willis. So can they get after him? Can they make him pressure? Can they get him uncomfortable out of his spots? That's what they want to see, and they're hoping to get a win there. And for the Packers' sake, you need this win is extremely important for them because again, Jordan Love is expected to be out 3 to 6 weeks. So any win in that time frame that you can get, you need to help pad your record in your division. To keep, because NFC North is going to be a good division this year. So like it's going to be a tough, gritty defensive division. Chicago getting that gritty win over Tennessee in Week 1. They're playing against the Texans on Sunday, so that'll be interesting. And we'll talk about that in a second. But so they're gonna need everyone they can get, and you see, it'll be really intriguing to see how Matt LaFleur is going to run that offense. How he's going to what he's going to include in the offense to keep Malik Willis comfortable and get him some easy throws, things like that. To help get his playmakers involved, where all the pressure of the game is not specifically on him to carry that team to a win, right? So just some notes in that matchup I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out, right? And other matchups I circle here are, again, the Browns and the Jaguars. Now, the Browns just got completely, dismantled by Dallas on last Sunday in Week 1. It wasn't pretty. Offensively, Deshaun Watson, he couldn't get anything going. So, you want to see a bounce back game from him, and could possibly, do they need to start Jameis Winston? Do we need to look into that if you're the Browns? Possibly. I think you should. A lot of people were calling for him to come into the game last week. So we possibly could see some of Jameis. We don't know. But I do know one thing, and I'll reiterate it again. Deshaun Watson, unfortunately, is just not what he used to be at quarterback when he was with the Houston Texans, where he led the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns in 2020. He played awesome that year. And some other good years he had there as well. It's just not him, we don't know what exactly was the cause of it. Was it that did they whatever massaging oils they used, did they strip him of his football abilities? I don't know. But that's just something that I'm not, I don't think the Browns made a mistake giving him that contract. So a huge mistake. So yeah, so we'll see who wins that game. And for the Jaguars' sake, this is a game that they need to win as well, again, to keep, at a good spot in that AFC South race, because that's going to be a tough division this year for them. Because I expect the Colts to be good this year. Like I said, the Texans, we know they should continue to. They're only going to get better, and they were great last year. C.J. Stroud a year in, so I don't expect good things from them. Tennessee, looked good in flashes on Sunday, but they just couldn't keep that lead against the Bears, So you're interesting to see how they play. How are they going to fare when they play against a stingy good defense like that? You got to be able to make plays. You got to be able to hold leads. You got to be able to score the football when you play teams like that. So, especially teams like that, those good defenses. So, but that's overall those are games that I'm really interested to see how those offenses will come out and attack. How the defenses will play the opposing quarterbacks. Something to look out for. And then the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chiefs. Now, this is a matchup we all look forward to every single year. Burrow, Mahomes, it's like, you're right, Burrowhead. But no, this matchup will be in Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. So the offense for Cincinnati did not look good last week against New England. New England's defense, now, I'll give them credit. They got some talent on that defense, and they played really well cohesively in that win over Cincinnati last week. However, the Bengals also have a top 10 receiver, two top 10 receivers, in my opinion, when they're out there. Maybe Higgins is top 15. So a top 10 receiver and top 15 receiver when they're healthy on the field. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase still has not been paid his contract yet. Words are word is that he turned down reportedly over $140 million contract or something like that. So big money he turned down. So his camp is still seeking something bigger from Cincinnati as far as contract and money is the topic. So I don't know, but I do know this game is a tough time in the schedule to have it if you're the Bengals, because again, they're always and again in the year for the last couple of years, they struggle, particularly offensively, and this is not a team you want to do that against, because they will exploit it, every part of it, just like New England did, except they're going to put up a whole lot more points than that. And so I'm really watching to see how, since if Cincinnati's defense can kind of help out their offense a little bit, give them good field position, limit the Chiefs to field goals if they can, being physical, not getting no bone coverage assignments. You got to keep that speed in front of you. You got guys like Xavier Worthy, Rashid Rice, those guys, those twitchy fast guys, keep them in front of you. Know where Travis Kelce is at all times. All easier said than done, right? Until you get on the field, and then it's like you line up from like a guy who runs a 4-3, and then he blazes past you, and it's like, he's in for a touchdown. What are you going to do, right? So there's that too. But again, I'm looking forward to seeing again how the Bengals attack this. Offensively, can they get something going? Like, can they build off of something to get some juice flowing there? Get a good running game going. Like, that's going to be important, I believe, against the Chiefs. If you can run the football, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, run that clock down. It's a good method to try to beat them. So. By the way, I'm not really picking winners or losers here in these. This is just overall game thoughts and predictions for the most part. But then the next big matchup again. So Dallas and the Saints. Now the Saints look really good against the Panthers in Week 1. 47 points. When's the last time New Orleans did that? So they played good football. I mean, those guys went there, they balled out. They were. Offensively, they were playing good. Defensively, getting after Bryce Young, making life just miserable for him. So Dallas is not going to be as simple to do so with like that. Not going to be a cakewalk like that. That Prescott just got this huge contract, which don't think he was worth getting. Because we all know what he does in the playoffs. Like, look, Dak Prescott, listen, guys, I'm not saying he's a suck. Like, he plays good in the regular season. He's a great statistical quarterback. He's going to give you great numbers. When he's healthy, he's going to give you a great season. But when it matters the most, he cannot produce. He cannot deliver for you as a starting quarterback of this team. And at what point do you understand that you can't keep putting out the same thing every single year, or else you're going to get the same results every single year, and that's what they're getting with that Prescott quarterback. So if they're fine to continue to keep losing in the playoffs every year in the first round, then have at it. But if you want to really win, extending that Prescott was not the move. So personally, now are there better quarterback options out there? Like immediately, no. But sometimes you gotta do what you have to do. You got to be a little patient. You got to develop a little bit. Not saying those guys will turn out to be any better than what Dak is. You don't know that. They could be or they couldn't be. But those are the risks you take when you go the route of drafting a quarterback and developing him. Dak Prescott was developed, and he developed into a good quarterback. He just has not been able to produce when it matters the most. And that's not just all on him. It's also on some of the defense too. But still, as a quarterback, you're supposed to make those plays. You're supposed to lead. You're supposed to be the anchor to hold this team, lead this team to victory. He has not been that for the Dallas Cowboys. So, next matchup, the Chicago Bears and Houston Texans. This is going to be a good sneaky game. You know why? I think it's going to be a good game because both of these teams have some good young, fast defenses, and like it really going to be intriguing to see how these two young quarterbacks will fare against that. Because again, Chicago's defense played really well against the Titans, especially like in the second half. They gave their offense plenty of opportunities to go out there on the field. The offense just couldn't do much with them. But, getting after Will Levis and pressuring him, they're going to do the same thing. Try to gap C.J. Stroud, pressure him, not let him be comfortable in the pocket where he can stand and make those beautiful throws. That's going to be their game plan going into this game. And for Houston, just Caleb Williams is a rookie. He's a great rookie, but he's a rookie. So, same thing. Like, you after him. Make him miserable. Make him have to make those plays. Make it hard if you're the Texans and go out there and do what you do. You're a more experienced team, more experienced group of guys. You go out there and make the plays you need to make to go out there and get the victory. So that's just those are some of the matchups that I really am looking forward to. For week 2. So. And if I did mention your team, it's probably because the game that they're playing is like a cupcake matchup, and wasn't really going to talk about it. Or it just could be I'm going to talk about them at a later point. So that's just something to think about as well. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Jay's Fifth Down. I'm your host, Jaden, of course. Check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We're also on all audio podcast platforms. Jay's Fifth Down, ! I'll put a link in the description below. And make sure you hit that like button too. Share with your friends. you know, y'all know the deal. We'll see you next time.